Hello, how are you? How's your week going? It's a fine and sunny, albeit very, very windy week here in the UK, and wherever I'm talking to you, anywhere in the world, I hope it's good for you. I just want to continue the journey. We're on this little journey. If you've chosen to join me, adventuring through 2022, we're on this journey of awareness and abundance. And I don't know if it's happening for you, but there is certainly some significant awareness of stuff going on and huge opportunities sort of popping out of every kind of where at the moment. So it's a really, really interesting time, and I'm hoping that you're finding that as well. One of the things that we've been focusing on this month, and you can catch up on these things in the Neil Wilkins podcast, is we have been focusing on a range of very, very different energy related topics, and you may well have caught up on these. If you haven't, I really do encourage you to, because I've had some exceptional conversations. The first one with Anne McCluskey on the topic of energy management and how to manage energy in everyday living, and that was an absolutely fascinating exploration. We'll be coming back to more conversations with Anne, absolutely no question of that, possibly even later in the year as we continue our journey. And also a conversation with Gemma Butler, who is the MD at the Chartered Institute of Marketing, and we were looking about the topic of marketing sustainability and kind of the state of marketing as it is right now. And I know a lot of people on the journey here with me are marketers, business developers, and the like. So that will be certainly something that will resonate with you, and very much a sort of an update, if you like, and kind of bringing you up to speed with all the latest thinking within marketing. So that was a fascinating conversation with Gemma. And again, Gemma has a lot of energy on the topic of marketing. So it seems to be that energy's been the thing this month, and that is going to continue. I'm going to tell you something just in a moment about what's coming up tomorrow. And this is a heads up for something not to miss tomorrow, because I am really, really excited about a conversation I'm going to be having and sharing with you tomorrow, the 18th of February. But just before I do that, I have seen this quote that I want to share with you for today. It is coffee time. It's always coffee time. It's the cliche that I keep sort of saying, but it's so true. Every time is coffee time. But it is this little moment just to take a pause in the day, maybe to just kind of pause and reflect and just see if this one resonates for you. Now, I don't know why this one keeps popping into my world, but it has over the last couple of weeks, and I thought I'll share it with you because it is so poignant and so significant for this journey that we're on this year, this whole idea of being super aware of everything that's going on and then seeking abundance, or observing abundance of all the best bits that we're after. So this quote from Michael Singer says that everything is fine. You're the one who said it isn't. So just think about that one for a minute. Michael Singer, if you haven't come across him, search him up, because there are some fascinating podcasts. One in particular on the podcast channel, Sounds True. It's honestly, you will want to listen to Michael Singer again and again. Really, really interesting kind of thought leader on the topic of awareness, and a multiple sort of range of other things that he talks about. But this was one quote that's really jumped out to me. Everything is fine. You're the one who says it isn't. So when you think about everyday living, you think about kind of being mindful at work, mindful in your relationships. One of the things that we are all, I guess, seeking is balance. And that is, not being too positive, not being too kind of out there, but also not being too negative. Because ultimately, and if everything is energy, and we've talked about that, and we'll talk about that a lot more, if everything is energy, everything comes back to equilibrium. Everything eventually will balance. If you don't touch it, it will just settle down and it will balance. And that is the way of the world. That is the way of the universe. It's one of those universal laws, and is something we can't do anything about. So everything is fine. The only thing that happens is when stuff doesn't feel fine, and when we're not perceiving it as fine, is that we have made that choice. We're the one who's decided, oh, that isn't good enough, or oh, that's not enough for what I'm looking for, or he said this, or she did that, and I'm just not happy now. And so it's our own internal conversations, it's our own internal vocabulary that changes everything from being fine. And Michael Singer talks a lot about this and says, you're the only one who said it isn't. Nobody else told you. You were perceiving the world, you were perceiving that moment. You decided how to interpret that moment in work, that conversation you had with a colleague, that call you just had to make and it didn't go so well, that thing that you were talking about at home and had a disagreement with. All of these things are based inside you. These are all the perceptions that are happening inside you, because everything is fine. Everything ultimately comes back to equilibrium. So the only thing that isn't fine, potentially, if something isn't fine in your world, is the way that you're perceiving it, the way you're thinking about it, the way you're interacting with it. And this quote, for me, I'd like you to kind of just have a little play with that one today, because it's really poignant, I think. And it leads on perfectly and seamlessly to the conversation I wanted to share with you that I'm going to be having tomorrow, Friday, the 18th of February, with Leyth Hampshire, who is a somatic coach. Now, soma comes from the Greek word which talks about the body in its wholeness. Okay, and it's quite a deep kind of philosophical thing to get your head around, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. And it talks about the idea that if you treat everything in wholeness, so you don't just think of that situation, that person, that moment in time, but if you treat everything in a holistic sense, then you do have some kind of control or some kind of measure of bringing everything back to equilibrium. So this is very, very much at the core of the whole topic that we're talking about, which is energy management through this month. Seeking energy, understanding energy, because we're all made of energy. We live our lives every day with energy, through energy, as energy. So this conversation tomorrow is going to be fascinating, because I'm going to be talking to Leyth about somatic well-being, but also, really interestingly, mindset. Because our mindset, how we choose to begin the day and lead our day, the kind of mindset that we get into before we start interacting with others, before we open our inbox, before we start getting into social, before we head off to work, our mindset at the start of every day is of paramount importance as to how that day is going to turn out. So when we're talking about awareness and then abundance, all the best things that we're looking for here, the awareness begins with mindset. It's one of those really core concepts that's at the root of our journey this year. So our journey is awareness and abundance, and this is one of the key building blocks. So I really wanted to have this conversation and share it with you, with Leyth, because Leyth is somebody who's had a very, very interesting journey. I'm not going to steal his thunder, because this is something you need to hear from Leyth himself. But his story, his journey as to where he got his inspiration for devoting his whole life really to somatic coaching, mindset and well-being, comes from a scenario that he found himself in. And this is dramatic stuff. Okay, this isn't just, oh, I had a bad day, so I thought, oh, let's do something different. This is life-changing moments that can really, really inspire people, or it can stop people from ever reaching their potential. But for Leyth, it's really, really opened up his world. So he's going to share that with us tomorrow. So stay tuned. I'm going to keep you posted tomorrow as to what time that's going to be available. But yeah, stay tuned on social, because I will be sharing that with you. If you're interested in finding out more, drop me an email, and I will send you the information about when that is available. Send me an email to mail@neilwilkins.online. That's mail@neilwilkins.online. And as soon as that interview, that conversation is available, I will send you a quick little email and just say, yeah, it's on there. You know, you can watch it now, you can listen to it now. So we'll be putting it out on video, but also be doing it on the podcast. And yeah, you do not want to miss this one. I know that this is going to be an absolutely fascinating conversation. So that'll be Leyth Hampshire with me, Neil Wilkins, tomorrow, Friday, the 18th of February, as we continue our journey, this really, really interesting journey, and our mantra through 2022 together, which is creating awareness within ourselves and then manifesting abundance, all the good stuff that we're seeking in our lives. So I hope you will join me for that next episode, this exciting episode and footstep in our journey this year. So join me tomorrow, and we will explore the whole concept of somatic well-being and mindset, just getting your mindset right at the start of every day so that you can live a life of awareness and abundance. Have a great day wherever you are, and just remember that little quote that I shared with you, that everything is fine. Maybe it is just you are the one who said it isn't. if something actually crops up in your day that isn't really serving you. But I hope it does, and I hope you have a great day. So wherever you are, have a good one, and I'll catch up with you again tomorrow.